All right, time for another flying time for another fly along video. I'm out on a local lake this time. And this is a spot that I have not flown around. I'm actually going to go up a little bit and kind of get a better view of the area. It says aircraft and altitude zone, which is correct. I did see a plane fly over just a little while ago, and it was actually flying pretty low. I'm mainly going to be doing some top-down photos. That's really what I want to kind of do today, just to have some fun. I mean, here in this area, our winter is we don't really get snow here. I mean, it really doesn't get too cold. Like today, it's 68. It's really not that cold at all, and so we don't necessarily get. I mean, like all of our trees are still green and everything, which I mean, that's just because, well, we don't necessarily get cold weather here to kind of, get those colors, and that's a catch-22. You can, you don't really have to worry about the cold, but you don't exactly get those beautiful fall colors or anything like that. And it's, we get snow here once every, 15 years? Maybe. I don't know if you guys saw that in the upper corner. I went a little too high, and that told me that I needed to lower my altitude, which I did. So I just changed my ISO, which I realized in the first video I didn't really talk about, kind of what everything does, the exposure triangle. I said a lot of terms that I didn't necessarily explain. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here while I'm taking these photos. Yeah, that's pretty. So the exposure triangle is, it's really pretty too. The exposure triangle is made up of your aperture, your ISO, and your shutter speed, and it all controls how much light comes into your camera, into your sensor. And my RC is going down. I'm actually going to kind of go back over towards the lake. So on your camera, you can normally change your shutter speed and everything. And on normal cameras like a DSLR or a mirrorless, you can change your aperture based on your lens and things like that. Each lens kind of has its golden area of where it best performs with the aperture. I'm going to get right on top of this island right here. However, on a gimbal, you're stuck at, I believe it is 2.3. And you're also stuck on your focal length, which of course you can change on a DSLR or a mirrorless or something like that. But you can't change that on this particular drone, on the Mavic Air 2. Right on top of this island. That orange. It's really pretty. So on this though, you can change your shutter speed and you can change your ISO, and that is effectively your exposure triangle for the use of the drone. I love that look right there. Let me turn it a little bit. Drop my ISO right down just a little bit. Yeah, I love that look right there. So, with a DSLR or mirrorless, you can change your ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture to get the best possible light. Your aperture is the opening in the lens, how big that is. That also changes your depth of field and your focal length. Since this is set and I can't change it from a 2.3, I've only got my shutter speed and my ISO to work with. Shutter speed is how quickly you're taking the picture, how long the sensor is being exposed to the light. For fast movements, to really freeze frame all movement, you want a very high shutter speed. So for instance on this, it can go up to 1/4000th of a second. It would immediately take that picture and freeze all motion. If you want to get some movement, like on a long exposure or on moving water, something like that, then you can drop your shutter speed down and leave it open for a little bit longer and you'll catch the movement. Which on a drone on a windy day may not exactly be the best idea. These little... Your ISO, think of it as artificial light. It is light that your camera is putting on the image for you. It is... I'm trying to get this point. This point's really pretty. So it's your artificial light. It's the light that your camera is putting in there for you, but whenever it does that, you get noise. And noise are those little dots that you can see in pictures. That kind of that loose quality. Look at that reflection. Let's go down. That's pretty. So, but whenever you're shooting with like a DSLR or something like that, you have your exposure meter at the bottom that tells you how underexposed or how overexposed you are. That's what this M.M at the bottom is. It's telling me that I am, how many clicks over or underexposed I am whenever I'm taking these photos. Like right now it says a 0.03, which means if I slow down, if I speed up my shutter speed, it will correctly expose it. You want to have the 0.0 right now. It's telling us a little dark, but if I bump up, now it's telling me that I'm a little light. We've got clouds passing over. Of course, anytime that you're outside, you're going to be dealing with some of this stuff. Also, over here to the left of the screen, I have a histogram, which, as I'm moving, you can see to the left side of it is going to be your shadows. To your right side is going to be your highlights. So what you want is in the middle. It's going to be showing a correctly exposed photo. You can see that it's almost touching the bottom right corner. That means that I'm going to be a little underexposed in certain areas. And if you look over to the right, nothing is touching that corner, so that means that my highlights are good. If I raise the camera and start moving it towards the sun, you see like right now it says it's perfectly exposed. Now it's a little overexposed in some areas. As I go up, that spike right there is telling me that I'm going to be way overexposed it's not capturing much colors, it's not capturing any wavelengths in between. And you can see as I go down, kind of get that sun out of there. That shows me that I'm good. But if I were to increase my shutter speed and then lift the camera back up, it looks better. Drop my ISO a tip, speed it up just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, and look at that histogram. That looks gorgeous. I am going to take a photo right there. It's a little overexposed, so I'm going to make it go a little bit faster. I'm going to make my shutter speed go a little bit faster. So there's something else that you can do to really help if you're shooting in extremely bright stuff, but you want to use a slower shutter speed. You want to have that movement on the water. You don't want to freeze frame the water. You can use what's called an ND filter, which I do have some for the drone. I might add some to it just to kind of get, just so that way I can get some longer exposures with this moving water. I'm a sucker for velvet water. I really am. That's what I prefer whenever I'm doing anything around water. I mean, if I'm doing stuff around waves, then I will want to freeze that motion sometimes, but then other times I do want to get that velvetness. But it really just depends on what kind of photo you're trying to take. If you're trying to get that velvet look, then you want to go long exposure. But if you're trying to freeze frame it and you want to shoot at a high shutter speed and not use an ND filter. They also have stuff called variable ND filters, which let you change how much you're going to drop, how dark it is. And that can really be nice. Those are a little more expensive than regular filters, but sometimes it's worth it to get the extra stuff. There's my white car right there as I'm flying over. Okay, go to sport mode, bring it back to me. I don't really care if I burn up the rest of this battery, just because I'm going to throw another battery on and be good with it. Aircraft in warning zone, airport. Oh, okay. So I'll show you guys what that means in just a second. Once I get back here. Oh man, get the hiccups. (42.5 miles an hour). This drone can book it, and I absolutely love it. I see where I'm at now. Over towards me a little bit more. And I'm bringing it down. I actually hiked right beside my car. That's crazy. Like, oh gosh. I just almost hit myself with it because I used the wrong stick. Oh man, that's gotta make it in the video.
Landing.
Okay, time to swap out batteries and put on a filter, and we'll see how that goes.